or if he was available, I could open up that document, we could go into a collaboration, share desktop, share application, and talk through it. So a lot of very, very good integration can be done across the whole Lync environment. Finally, the last couple of things I want to show is items I mentioned before, which are the desktop, the whiteboarding. So you do have a whiteboard area that we can kick up. So that's stopped the desktop share and is now sharing the whiteboard. So I could, do a drawing. Not a very good drawing, obviously, but a drawing nevertheless. And that's something I can throw some text in there as well. And we can save that and send that out to all the people as part of this meeting. There's also a poll, a question area. And I'll just... send this poll out to you. And that's an anonymous poll that gets sent out to all the participants in the meeting. And I can share the responsibilities. So some people can say, I want to actually change the answers there to be much more polite to the presenter, or we could use that in an environment where you have these collaboration meetings, people are working together, and you want to get a consensus. Now, the people that's the bossy ones and the loudest ones normally get their opinion across. In this particular situation, this is a private poll. So I can see the number of people that have responded, but I can't see who has actually responded. So you can get a consensus to ideas at the end of the meeting, which is very useful. And that can be saved and, again, sent out at the end of a session. So that gives you a quick rundown, a very fast rundown of some of the capabilities of Lync. You do have all these features at your disposal in this Lync trial. The only thing you cannot do is make external phone calls, but you will be able to do voice and video between each other in the local government community, and I strongly encourage you to do that. Play with it. It is an excellent tool. We use it ourselves and have done for quite some time, and find it very, very productive, particularly between the multiple offices that CSA run. So thank you very much for your time. I'd like to now hand over to Sarah, who will be discussing Lync a little bit further with Kirsten from Microsoft. Thank you.
Thanks, Darren. Hi, everyone, and a big thank you for jumping on to today's session. Part of what we're doing here is really trying to contextualise things for council specifically. So I've asked Kirsten to join me again so that I can ask her a few specific questions. Now, Kirsten, you mentioned a couple of things earlier, like replacing end-of-life telephony systems and the mobile workers and flexi workers and things, which is obviously very pertinent to council. One thing in particular that I'm hearing a lot of is that councils are looking to integrate much more with the community via a Lync or an instant message type service out of directly from their internet site. And I know that there's a number of councils in New Zealand and some Australian states that have already begun their Lync adoption. Are there any examples that you can give us beyond this that are really addressing specific problems that some of the councils have and where Lync can help with those?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it just depends on where the council is at with some of their issues and also around the life cycle and some of the assets that they've got, communications within their infrastructure. So, we talked a bit about PBX refresh. For councils that have got that end-of-life PBX environment, we're seeing a lot of them take advantage of a refresh cycle to move towards unified communications. And that's primarily around solving an end-of-life PBX system, but also around transforming that contact centre and starting to be able to service ratepayers in new ways and manage things like events appropriately. So they may have events that the council drives to drive business to that region or that town, and they're looking for the council, looking for contact centre to be able to handle those peaks and things like that. So that's a big driver around that. One other thing that we're seeing definitely within councils is of IT. So they're getting a lot of pressure put from broader within the council to be able to have capabilities that people have at home and be able to use that within the council context as well. We're also seeing a lot of councils have a problem or requirement coming through for video. How do they use video to connect internally and also with ratepayers and people external to the organisation? I think you mentioned a little bit about integration into websites, and that's definitely something we're starting interest around. I think that's probably always later on in their development cycle, but it comes into that whole customer and more of that ratepayer context and servicing that more efficiently and using tools that are internet-based and based on tools that their ratepayers are used to using at home.
That's brilliant, thank you. And also, Kirsten, you covered off the sort of the three main areas of adoption. Are you typically seeing councils adopt in a very staged approach like that? Is that what makes the most sense, and that's what we're seeing?
Yeah, so it depends on kind of current projects that the council's got within their IT refresh. Generally, we see most councils start to look at, because it is a change in the way that they work, most councils will start to look at, doing initial rollout of instant messaging and presence and start to see the impact that that has within their organisation. And then as part of that rollout, we're very much seeing them pilot conferencing functionality initially within IT and then starting to bring, cautiously other people in from the consumer, so from the wider council. And then they're also looking at how we've also seen some voice pilots happen. So some councils look at, either that's for the IT help desk or change review boards within IT for councils, or we've seen them look at refreshing their contact centre just with Lync and some of our partner solutions there. And so I think a big part of what we're seeing, let's just get instant messaging and presence out across and get people start to using that as a concept. And then they start to pilot conferencing or voice for some portions of their users. And so that's why, a key reason for that is that, we talked about the change management process for UC. A big part that we're seeing with councils is that piloting is a great way of getting buy-in from the wider council and people within different council departments on this type of technology. And something like Lync piloting Lync internally is a great way for them to get buy-in. And that's really around them having change management. Flip that over, the other way that I've seen some councils do it is they've used PBX refresh cycle as an opportunity to move towards unified communications. And rather than taking that piloting approach to get council buy-in or buy-in broader outside of IT, is they've involved the business really early on, or the council really early on in that RFP process. So we've seen some councils get Microsoft and other vendors in really early to showcase what's available in the market to get the wider council thinking about what potentially they could have as a requirement to go into that tender process. And then that feeds in, and then they have an evaluation process after, during that tender that includes representatives of the business looking at the offers, looking at the solution, seeing at that fit for requirements. Whether they're piloting, whether they're involving the council early on in a tender selection for a PBX replacement, it all comes down to buy-in from the users because this is a change management process for them. And particularly within councils, it's a key consideration around adoption and uptake of the solution.
Sure. And you mentioned tenders there, and obviously typically councils looking at this kind of technology undertake, very stringent selection processes. Do you have some comment around what have been the major deciding factors around the selection of Lync, say, over some alternative technologies?
Yeah, definitely. I think the two primary reasons we see is around just providing the best user experience. So having a really easy, simple solution that integrates tightly with the Microsoft desktop and the application. So without fail, the reason they select us is, particularly councils that have got the wider council into the decision board is ease of use and the single integrated back end, which really makes it simple for supporting as well. So while we're integrated on the desktop for users, we're also integrated and have a single solution in the back end, which just makes it really cost effective to manage and maintain for councils as well.
Much better if I unmute. Thanks, Kirsten. That's really great. That's answered some of the questions that I think are really top of mind for some of the councils attending. I'm going to hand back to Brett now just to wrap us up.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks very much, Sarah and Kirsten. Some great insight there. Well, hopefully today we've been able to prove that software-based collaboration does really have the ability to deliver the direct, immediate and significant value into councils such as yourselves. Over the last decade or so, it's kind of been widely acknowledged that the main improvement in productivity, around about 10%, has been attributed to task automation through software applications such as ERP, CRM and other business and workflow applications. And it's kind of accredited across the industry that the coming decade's 10% boost in productivity really is going to come down to improving the collaboration between knowledge workers. So technologies such as Microsoft Lync really are fundamental to being able to realise these benefits. So in terms of the top 5 Lync benefits we'd like you to take away from today's session, the first of those is a reduction of costs, and these can be both from an IT angle, so converging instant messaging, presence, conferencing and telephony into a single integrated platform, but also potentially from a business point of view, so perhaps consolidating real estate and gaining the facility savings that come with that. Boosting productivity, obviously Lync offers the ability to work from anywhere at any time on a multitude of devices, and extending that capability really can improve the productivity through your workforce. Improving community relations, so being able to federate with ratepayers through public instant messaging services, and as Kirsten mentioned before, being able to offer web chat type facilities through council websites as a new channel into your existing contact centre, are just a couple of examples as to how that can be achieved. Environmental contribution, obviously carbon emissions is somewhat topical and front of mind at the moment, but even the ability to reduce the amount of travel required for internal meetings can, when multiplied out, really can offer some benefits. And I touched on it in the opening, but Lync being offered through Microsoft's standard look and feel to which users are accustomed really does allow for rapid adoption and minimises the need for training, which is a key consideration when trying to realise these benefits quickly. So in our opinion, a systems integrator needs 3 kind of key requirements, or capabilities perhaps is a better word, to deliver successful Lync integrations. A long history working with local government and a proven track record in that particular space is important. Mature Microsoft practices, and this is both from an infrastructure standpoint, so technologies such as Active Directory, Exchange, System Center, Forefront, but also from a software development standpoint. So having capability across .NET, SharePoint, Microsoft Vast, and Microsoft SQL are key to being able to successfully deliver Lync technology rollouts. And thirdly, I think it's a strong pedigree in both TDM and IP telephony, and